All right, what's up? It's Michelle Ogun with Alt Country Club. I'm here with Molly Adele Brown.
Hello,
Yay,
thank you so much for having me.
So you're not originally from Nashville.
I'm not.
So tell us about how, are you from New York? Yeah,
Yep.
so tell us about, your journey from the Big Apple.
So I started off back in New York is where I was born and raised. I grew up right north of the city and then went to school on Staten Island and lived in Queens. I was, pursuing musical theater as a kid, and then it transitioned over to I wanted to be a singer-songwriter and I wanted to write and record my own music. And so I started that transition at the end of college. And from there, I just felt like Music City was the place to be.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Exactly.
To be honest. So how does, the music scene, the singer-songwriter scene in, New York compare to what it's like here?
It's a lot different. I feel like Nashville is cultivated for new artists and for brand new music and original music. It's just, that is kind of what the heart of Nashville is. Yes, you hear all of the hits all the time, but you also get a sense of the people that live here and what they do. And so there definitely was less of that type of community in New York. I did know, and I still know, we're all still friends, but a bunch of songwriters and writers up in New York that I absolutely love. But the difference is in Nashville, you can perform weekly your new music that you wrote that week. And so in New York, it's a lot kind of longer of a process to get to a writer's round, which are not as popular there. If you don't know what a writer's round is, it's when you put 3 or 4 artists on stage, and then they all perform original music, broken down in acoustic. And so in New York, I know there's a lot of people that would be like, oh, I didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah. So how does that whole scene of queerness and gayness compare from New York to here?
Very different. And I think that's kind of what I was born and raised on. Is I almost feel like I had a little mask on and I didn't even realize that there was a difference between anybody. And as you can tell from my latest song, Only Human, I really just saw everybody as only human. What was intriguing in the difference here is that in New York, you've got sections and it's everywhere. Whereas in Nashville, I feel like it's a smaller community. It's a strong community and everybody does love each other. It took me a little bit to really understand and get in on the community. So that part was a bit of a tough transition for me, because you go from knowing that you're accepted everywhere you go to sometimes there are moments where I'm like, should I be nervous in this situation?
Sure.
But that can happen anywhere.
Yeah,
so you do have to be aware of that. But I definitely do see a little bit of a difference in that sense of kind of being comfortable and whatnot. But
yeah. And then in general, do you find that being a queer LGBT woman in the music world has its own struggles and hoops to jump through?
It definitely does. First off, being a girl in music, I feel like is the first challenge. If you look at all of the charts, it is loaded with guys. And don't get me wrong, they're wonderful songs, but women need representation.
So Only Human, you mentioned that. And tell me more about the meaning behind that song for you.
Yeah, so Only Human was actually co-written with Corey Lee Barker. He's a wonderful songwriter down here in Nashville. And so Only Human stems from, there's this organization called Only Human. And so I'm one of their advocates, and really their goal in life is just to spread kindness and share that is what we should be doing in life, is appreciating everybody. I love their clothing brand. I wear it all the time. Being their advocate, I really just have fallen in love with this company. Because of that, I decided that they needed an anthem, and it felt right. And so I was telling Corey about it, and the two of us just wrote away, and instantly we felt like, yeah, this is something that needs to be out there. I sent it along to the company. They loved it as well, and I knew there was no looking back at that point, because I just wanted to share with everybody and, explain the importance of it all.
So Only Human, the music video, features a lot of choreography and dancing.
Does.
And I know that's been a goal of yours, right? How did that come about? How did that come together? And what does it feel like to finally have that goal of yours reached?
Yeah, so I have this big chalkboard in my wall, and I like to write crazy goals on it. And for me, I felt like making a music video with dancers was not a crazy goal, but that's a goal in itself. And so I found that this song really lended itself to having a diverse community of dancers, and that's exactly what I wanted. My friend of mine, Marcus Maldonado, he was the one who actually did all the choreography, and he found these wonderful dancers for me. The minute we got into the room for rehearsal, I think inside of me, I wanted to cry because of how happy I was.
Yeah,
and they could tell that I was just beaming ear to ear. And it was
you look very happy and excited in that video. So
oh
it
my
definitely
God.
It definitely shone through that feeling.
And so definitely it was one of those things that it's really nice to be able to say I did it. I now know that dance is such a part of me. I grew up dancing. I'm not the greatest dancer, but that's okay.
Don't sell yourself short. That's a great video. Yeah.
But when you're compared to some of Nashville's best dancers,
sure, yeah.
It's fun because it's another way of kind of being expressive and another way of communicating with people. And for some people, music is their communication. For some people, dance is their communication. And I just want to keep diving into that and see how many people we can reach and how we can spread it kind of across all the lines.
That little kid.
Austin.
Crazy.
Adorable.
So amazing.
Yes.
It was such a nice, wonderful, diverse, age-wise, color, gender, all kinds of things.
And I was I just want to show a youthful side to this whole thing because I think things can get so serious. And I want to make sure that it stays serious, I also want to show that there is a fun and a light, and that needs to be shared in life.
Cool. What is your songwriting process in general like, or does it, vary from song to song?
It definitely fluctuates. The thing about Nashville is that I am in so many more co-writes than I was able to be in New York. But it's each week I could be writing with a different writer, and when you walk into the room, I find it's best to kind of see how the other person likes to write. There's certain things that I enjoy doing. I used to be very strict of I want to write the last line, then the chorus, then the verse, and then sometimes you're just no, the verse this is what it has to be. So you got to lose that kind of strict schedule. When I get in a co-write, I really just kind of feel the vibe of the room and who I'm writing with, and we go from there and start typically with lyrics and then music at the same time, and then, it all has to start with an idea.
Who do you consider to be both personal influences and then musical influences for your artistic journey?
A little bit of a different answer. My personal influence is my mom. She's kind of the one who definitely is behind me no matter what I do, and she's been here for me for forever. She's a great influence in the way that she tells me to follow my goals and reach for anything and do anything that I want. And even if it seems impossible, she reminds me that it's not impossible. I just have to keep trying. She's my my backbone influence. And as far as creative influence, Carole King, Andy Grammer, and Brandi Carlile. Those are my three three powerhouses. Yeah.
That's amazing. If you could have any opener at any venue for a concert that you're headlining, who would it be, where would it be, and why?
If I could have any opener, all right, I'd want to play the Ryman. There is something spectacular about that venue.
Yes.
The acoustics itself are just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
I want to share the bill with, honestly, I'd love to find just two younger artists that are kind of doing the exact same thing as me. I'd want to give them a chance that they might not have gotten otherwise. So I'd want to know that I'm helping out somebody else. And then I'd love it if Brandi Carlile could be there too.
Yes.
And then I could close out the show.
Amazing.
I feel that would be a really cool night.
Okay, well, whenever that happens, you know where to find me.
Exactly.
Hit me up with some tickets.
I got you covered.
Amazing. Great. Tell us about your upcoming shows.
Well, I played downtown Nashville, and for Nashvillians, it's Lower Broadway. For anybody outside of Nashville, it's this main strip of town that is jam-packed with country bars. My regular show is every Sunday. That's 11 to 2, 11 a.m. So I play that one every Sunday with two of my favorite Nashville folks, Tim Baumgartner and Tim Engston. So I will be there every Sunday. On top of that, I am going to be featured on Today in Nashville on November 7th. I'm going to be in a couple more writers' rounds that I will be sharing on my website very soon, just solidifying some of the details. And so as of now, that's kind of the core of what I'm doing performing-wise and working on getting even more music out there.
Awesome.
So you can find me on every platform of social media. My handles are Molly Adele Brown. I keep it very simple. So as long as you look that up, you should be able to find me. That's also my website. It's www.mollyadelebrown.com. And that has all of my information, including tour dates and media and everything you could possibly want to see.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that just about wraps us up. Molly
Wonderful.
Adele Brown, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
This has been Michelle Oakland with Elk Country Club.